Greetings and salutations, YouTube. Today we're going to do another segment of my awkward life. But before we jump into that, I need to apologize for my absence. A couple tests and some projects pulled my attention away from YouTube because I need to focus on my academics, as most of us do most of the time. Winter break's coming up, so I'll be able to make some videos again. Hopefully next semester won't be as rough. It was just so many tests and projects around the same time. I had to focus on several things at once, and unfortunately YouTube had to be pushed back, but I'm back now. Today, this awkward life vlog is going to be about a story when I was 17. I was a junior in high school. One day, I was coming home from school and I had work at 5 o'clock, and I got home roughly around 3:40. So I got ready and I was sitting on the recliner, and I was standing actually, and my mom was sitting on the couch, and I went to sit down on the recliner, and I felt this weird popping in my testicle. I immediately go check, make sure everything's cool, make sure I still got two, so everything's looking all right, but like there's a fair amount of pain. And so I tell my mom, like, hey mom, I'm in some pain. I don't think I should go to work today. I think I need to go to the doctor. And she was like, no, you'll be fine. So I went to work, and the pain kind of persisted. And over the next 2.5 weeks, the pain just kept getting worse, and my testicle was getting more and more swollen, something I kept forgetting to mention to my parents when communicating this issue, which is why they didn't take me to the doctor, because I kept saying I was in pain without mentioning any of the obvious medical problem side effect things to get them to think this is warrants a doctor visit. So after 2.5 weeks, I finally communicate to him that it's swollen, and I get taken to the doctor immediately, which was awesome. And this whole 2 weeks I've been on WebMD, and so I'm pretty sure at this point that I have cancer. I just know that. That's what it is, and I've already come to terms with this, sorta. So the doctor, my doctor, he has me, drop my pants, and he first says, well, I'm going to check for cancer. And that was the moment it became real, and I was just like, oh, fuck, okay. So he's checking for cancer, which hurts. I can't tell you enough, because you see, I was swollen to, at this point, about 3 times the size of the other one. And it was very, very, very tender to the touch. Like, it was in so much pain. And the way they have to check for testicular cancer is they feel if there's any bumps on the testicle, or lumps, much like you would with, breast cancer. You check yourself out for lumps. Same thing for testicle cancer. So guys, check your balls. But he was feeling around, and that felt awful. And then he goes, well, there's no cancer. So then I thought, well, then why tell me about the cancer? Why not just search for the cancer and not tell me what's going on, so I don't have a heart attack for 30 seconds while being in an immense amount of pain? But whatever. So I have no cancer, but he doesn't know what's wrong with me. So he sets up a sonogram for my testicles, which sounds pretty weird to me, but nonetheless, we go over to that building, and me and my stepdad are in the little waiting room waiting for me to get called up so they can give you a sonogram. And this pretty attractive looking nurse walks by, and my stepdad nudges me and goes, how funny it would be if she gave you your sonogram. And I was like, dude, I don't even care at this point. I mean, it sucked, but I don't even care. I'm in so much pain. I just want to get this taken care of. And about 15 minutes later, they call me in, and I go in the room, and the lady tells me to take off my pants, and the sonogram person will be in a few moments. So I take off my pants, I lay on the bed, just sitting there. kind of weird. Just sitting there, like, naked from the waist down, waiting for this stranger to come in. And lo and behold, that nurse from the lobby walks in with a tube of gel and says, "Hey, I'm doing the sonogram. Is that okay?" And I said, "Yeah." Because like I said, I just wanted this to be taken care of. And so she goes, "I warmed the gel for you so it won't be cold." I thought, oh, that was so nice. So she warms the gel for me, and then she starts. She has gloves on, and there's a monitor, and the bed's right next to the monitor, and she puts them on the gloves, starts massaging it onto my testicles, which, I'll be honest, it felt amazing when it felt amazing, but because of the tenderness when it hurt, which was most of the time, it really, really hurt. So, like, there was no worry of me getting aroused and something happening because of that, because I was just in way too much pain to ever at any point be aroused for these entire 2.5 weeks. It just wasn't an interest. I was just in so much pain. So that was cool, but well, she was trying to keep her eyes on the screen, which I respect this lady. I don't know her name. I can't remember it. But, I mean, if you end up seeing this, if you recognize me, I don't know if that was memorable for you. But, you know, thank you for being so professional. But she's eyes locked on screen, just moving the electric eyeball thing around my balls and just staring at him. And I try and make some sort of small talk. But that's kind of hard given the situation. So the best I can come up with is the probably stereotypical for sonogram. So what does that mean? And she goes, "Oh, well, you see, it's purple and red. Purple is when, like, blood is leaving the area, and red's when it's coming to the area. And that all looks normal, so that's good. It's doing that normal, so it's not like a circulation thing." And I was like, well, that's cool. And throughout the whole process, my dick kept flopping down right over my testicles, and she had to keep moving it, and this was just happening over and over again, because for some reason it just did not want to rest on my tummy. I think it's because I was at a slight recline, so it just kept working its way down. So at one point, I grab it and I hold it up and I go, "It's okay, I got it." And then she looks at me from the screen. She breaks from screen and goes, "Thanks." And then she realized how awkward things got when we locked eyes for that moment, because it lasted much longer than the few milliseconds it should have. It was a glance that quickly turned into a lock of eyes. And she broke away from that the only way she possibly could have. And then back at the screen for the rest of the time while she just looked at it. And turns out what I had was a bacterial infection, if anyone's curious. It just happens sometimes. Pretty common in adolescent males. But it's just bacterial infection. It's called epididymitis. It can happen to anyone. It's similar to testicular torsion, which I'm sure some of you are familiar with. So don't freak out immediately if you got some mad ball pain. It might just be epididymitis. But I wish I could say that was the end of the story. I mean, it's the end of the awkward story, but not the end of the story for epididymitis. I actually had that 3 or 4 more times in the next year and a half. Because I got a less common version called acute epididymitis, which is when you just get it and it'll just keep coming back with a vengeance pretty often for they don't know how long. It just eventually stops. But mine stopped after that year and a half, which was awesome because that was killing me. But yeah. So that is the end of this awkward tale. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Never forget to smile. And as always, I will see all of your beautiful faces later.